Hayden with iBroke. We are going to just pull apart this iTouch 4 today for those of you that want to attempt an iTouch 4 screen replacement. It is probably one of the more difficult replacements that we do. So if you guys need any help or have any questions, you can always contact us through our website, or you can give us a call. All of our contact information is listed at myibroke.com. So let's get started. First, there's a couple of things you need to know. There are several components underneath that are easily damaged, and if you're going into this repair blind, you can definitely damage some things that are very, very difficult to repair. So if you follow this process, you will be able to avoid this. The first is down here at the bottom. There's a speaker casing underneath that is glued to the back of the screen, where if you don't pry the screen up between that speaker and the glass, you will rip some wires down there, and then your loudspeaker won't work. Also, to your Wi-Fi antenna here on the top left corner is also in most circumstances glued to the back of the glass. So you're going to want to make sure to pry it off in a way to where you can get behind this glass in front of this antenna and make sure that it's not still glued to the glass when you try and remove it. Alright, so you want to start off in this corner, and you want to push here and then just kind of get this glass up. It doesn't matter if you break your LCD display, because your LCD is going to come with your glass when you buy a replacement screen, or at least it should. So you want to get in here and just pry up and make sure that speaker isn't still attached, and then you want to work your way around. Alright, and then you should be able to pry it up like this. And for this antenna here, you just want to get the screen a little raised up, and then you want to get in and make sure that this antenna doesn't get ripped. Alright, so there you go. That's what the inside looks like. Alright, so as you can see here, there's a metal cover. As I was saying, there is a speaker underneath that you want to be careful not to rip. So don't get in there and pry too hard. We're going to start off by removing the old glass. You can take a razor blade and just cut this wire here. Alright, so let's get that out of the way. Now we have this. So you have 9 screws. I recommend keeping all of them in order. Most of them are different sizes. So let's start with 1, 2, 3 as a set. This would be the first set of screws. And we do recommend using non-conductive tools, and we also recommend being grounded to a grounding mat. We have all of that stuff in place. You can transfer electricity if you're not careful. A lot of the repair videos out there, guys, there's a few steps that may be missing because we don't want to give away all the trade secrets, but we're going to try to give you as much information as possible so you can successfully do these repairs on your own. So that was your first set of screws that you removed. Make sure you keep those clustered together. Now we're going to take these 3 screws here. And then finally, there's 3 screws. I'll zoom in for you. 3 screws here, 1, 2, 3. This will be your third set. Again, make sure you keep these together because all 3 sets have different lengths. You can usually just tap and these come out. These are they tend to be a little bit more difficult to come out. than your other screws. So what we're going to do is, I like to get a flat blade. Just try and get them out like that. This one's usually a little bit more difficult to get because it just gets kind of stuck in there and it doesn't want to come out because of all the glue. All right, so there you go. Now all your screws are gone. We can get inside. We need to remove this metal plate. There's really only one way to do it without damaging any of the internal components. The first thing you need to do is remove the cover on the rear camera. I would recommend getting a very thin pry tool or a razor blade and just kind of work it around in there until you can find a little area that will let you pop it up. It is hooked in on a couple of different sides. Usually if you come in from this way, you can get it to pry up, and sometimes it pops off, so make sure that you can find it when it comes back. This is what it looks like here. Alright, and now you want to scrape off the grounding tape. It is connected to a big flat piece of grounding tape in this area, so try to leave it connected if you can. It's sometimes hard to do, but then again, you want to try to do that. Alright, so the 2 points of entry for this metal casing here are between the Wi-Fi antenna and the volume wire. Where this screw here goes, you can slide in. There's no wires that are gonna get broken if you slide your tool in this way. And also here at the back end, you're going to want to pry here against that speaker I was telling you about before. We can start by doing that. Make sure you get between this metal casing and the speaker underneath it. Just pry up a little bit. Alright. And then you want to come in right here between the motherboard and the metal plate. If you get underneath the motherboard and pry, you will break the motherboard. So the best thing to do is just gently come in from this angle, and you can pop this off. And as you can see, the speaker here, that's what we were trying to protect, and then these wires here. Alright, so now there's a couple more things and you're pretty much ready to go for your new screen. You want to make sure you remove all the excess glue. A little bit of heat is preferred. It'll help that stuff come right off. You need to pry up the rear camera. Now if you try to pry from the metal only, you will rip the metal from the rear camera. You need to pry the entire rear camera up very, very gently. Just loosen it up. You don't need to take it out, you just need to make it loose. Alright, now to get to the digitizer connector, it's actually underneath the motherboard. So you're going to want to pry your motherboard up very gently. Okay, just like this. There is more grounding tape here. So you're going to want to remove this grounding tape. And then you can take your tool and get between the connector and the board and just gently massage. Okay, and that's the digitizer connector for your iTouch 4th Gen. Also, with your front panel, there's a couple of pieces on the front panel that you're going to need, so don't throw it away as soon as you pull it off. Your home button here, and you're going to need this metal plate to hook onto the new screen to hook back into the iTouch. You can get away without using it. Just make sure you use the proper adhesive and to cover all these edges with adhesive, very thin adhesive, when you are putting the new screen on, so that way you get a good seal. Let me grab some of that adhesive for you so I can show you what it looks like. It looks like a sheet of adhesive, but if you'll notice, it's actually outlined so that you can put it all the way around, and that's the best way to go, in my opinion. We have all these parts available for sale on our website. If you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us, and have a great day.